Hi everybody, I'm doing another video. This one is going to be on pre-life memories, bilocation, and some experiences I've also had, like popping into past lives spontaneously in a very kind of bilocation type of thing, and then also what you may see right after you die, or kind of going through the death process and what's there. Anyway, I think it's interesting stuff, and that's it. So I'm going to start with the story, my pre-life memory, and this happened in the 90s. I was chanting and meditating in the bathtub. Chanting, toning, meditating in the bathtub. Now, at this time period, I was doing a lot of that, and I was studying a lot of Paramahansa Yogananda's work, and his meditation techniques. They're pretty easy to get a hold of if you want to do that. Anyway, I do recommend it. Anyway, so I was chanting, singing, meditating, going into deep trance state, and all of a sudden I popped out of my body, and I popped out of my body and into the pre-life place. Some people might call it heaven. I don't know what to call it, but it was absolutely beautiful, this place, and it was filled with, off in the distance I could see like a city, and there were white selenite looking or crystalline looking buildings everywhere, just absolutely beautiful. And there was also, it wasn't just white, it had gold light in it too, and I got the feeling of this great expanse of this city realm, and I'm not sure what to call it, but it was and it felt like there were people there, but at that moment I didn't see any people there. I just saw this one person, and he was a guide. And we were standing kind of on a platform, but it felt like a really huge platform. And there was a background, and this kind of platform, it felt like almost like a diving off place, because there was like this platform and then down. And if you ask me, that was where you hop off to go live your next lifetime. Anyway, that's what I was perceiving at that time. So I was talking to this guy, and it was exactly what you might think as far as a guide. This guide was all white. He had white robes on. He was very white, but white like a different dimensional being, not like a white person white. Now was something different than that. And he seemed very wise and kind, but very firm, because what I was saying to him was, I don't want to go there. I think I've changed my mind. I don't like those people. And what I was referring to was my family in this lifetime, mostly my mom and dad. And what I got from my perception of that was that my mother was pregnant with me at that moment, at that time, and I was connected to my physical body in her womb, but I was not fully immersed into the body. So I had been hovering around those people a lot. Now, at that time, I had, before I was born, my mom and dad had 2 children already, and that was Mile and Marlon, and they both had cystic fibrosis. So there was a lot of illness already in the family. There was a lot of fear of a disease, fear about your children dying young from a disease. So there was a lot of anxiety, fear, depression, sadness. There was also, my mom was deaf, and so there was huge communication problems too. And, and they were Mormons, so there was this other added element of the patriarchy controlling everything. And me talking to this guy saying, I don't think I want to go there. I've been hovering around them. I don't think I like them. I think I've changed my mind. And and he was saying, no, this is what we decided. This is for your growth, where you are as a soul, that this was the next step in your development, in your growth as a soul. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. And he's like, yeah, remember, we had this discussion. It's really the best thing for you. And so, I thought about it. And the minute I said, okay, I'll do it, I was back in my body, in New York City, in the bathtub. And so I had to call my friend Melanie and tell her all about it. And she thought it was really funny and interesting. And she's like, oh my God, Lorina, you are the reluctant human. And I've kind of lived that way. Yeah, there was a lot of reluctance to coming here. And sometimes when I do energy healing and also Akashic records, because I have been there, I can go back to when you decided to come in to this earth lifetime, and what you brought with you, what lessons you brought with you, what you need to be healed, what you brought in to heal, and also what your gifts are. But I can also go back to that point of your decision to come here and see what kind of energy you brought into this lifetime. And that can be like me, the reluctant human. There was a lot of reluctance about being here and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But I've also seen people who come in with a lot of fear, but they're also like, yeah, I'm going to do this. So they have a lot of power behind it. And they're like, yeah, I am going to face these things. I'm going to do this. And I'm excited. And I know it's going to be hard. And there's also sometimes, on rare occasion, there's some people who come in who have very little stuff to resolve. They are very clear karmically. They don't have to clean up a lot of stuff. And they come in with parents who seem pretty evolved too, who don't, and who come in, and this person comes in, or these people come in with a lot of love and support, and so that they can get on with what they need to do. Now that's more rare, but every once in a while someone comes in like that, and I love when that happens, because it's so exciting to be in their energy and to feel that clarity, because that certainly was not me. I had to do a lot of work. Yeah. And it's okay. I am doing it, still doing it, and have done a lot of it, because that is life. But anyway, it's just kind of a cool experience, this to see all that and feel it and to know it, but also to see that place where we come from. Now, is that where everyone comes from? I don't know. I doubt it. I think that some people come from other places, other dimensions, or other multi-dimensional realities that have that stepping off point coming into this lifetime can look different and be different. That's very possible. We don't have all the answers. We're all trying to get them. Yeah, I am a seeker. I'm always looking for what's really going on. All right, so my next story is just about my friend Jody, who died this year, actually, and it was quite sad. She was in a biking accident. She was riding her bike, and I think she had just barely gotten it, and from what I know, it was the first or second time she'd even been out riding it, and she accidentally ran into a car going 40 miles an hour. Now that's kind of bizarre, and how did that happen? And we had a lot of questions. I mean, Jody was a little above 50 years old, something like that. And anyway, so I do a practice message circle for budding psychics, or people who want to practice their mediumship or psychic abilities. And it's just a message circle, and everyone can practice giving messages, and we do it in a darkened room. So we're sitting there, and I was giving a message for somebody's uncle, and their uncle, and this is in a darkened room, so I want to kind of paint the picture. So I keep my eyes closed. Sometimes I keep them open. It goes back and forth. But sometimes I really go into a space where I literally am there feeling everything that they're going through. So I was seeing this relative of this girl falling and going in and out of consciousness. Like he fell and was going in and out of consciousness. And there was a big message behind that she received. But in the meantime, it kind of segued into Jody coming in and showing me a similar scenario where she was coming in and out of consciousness and fell. So something happened with her coming in and out of consciousness and her falling. But the most interesting part is that when she finally came out of her body and was on the other side, it was like this pop, and all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I'm here on the other side, and I'm so happy to be here. Now, Jody laughed a lot, and she had a big laugh, and she was laughing. She was laughing like, oh my God, this is so great to be here. I love this. Now, Jody left behind 3 cats that she loved dearly, and she also, she had a condo. She had just got the floors done, and all of these things, it was almost like I could feel them. All of those things were just a distant memory, and she was just happy to be on the other side, like really, really happy, like, I don't want to go back, no regrets, I am here and this is it. So it was great to see that she had no, like, it's okay. It's really more than okay that I am here instead of there. Now, it's very possible that as she came more into the spirit world and came instead of just popping out at that moment and having that experience, that her concerns did go towards the earthly realm and what she left behind. That's very possible. I don't know if it's true, but I would imagine that is the case. But anyway, I thought that was interesting that she was just so happy to be gone on the other side. And of course, it's tragic for all of us who are left behind, trying to figure out what happened and what's going on and how we can help her and her family with what has been left behind because she's gone. But it's also wonderful to see how she felt about it. In fact, it's really quite beautiful. Yeah, anyway. And she had no messages like, hi, Lorina, hey. It was more like, yay, I'm happy to be over here. Now I can do whatever I want to do, and I can go travel, and I have no limitations. That is a beautiful thing. Anyway, so, and my next story, third story, I'm going to tell you about is when I was doing this is another interesting story, and it's about being on the other side after death. So I was doing a holoset workshop. That's Richard Bartlett's workshop, who created Matrix Energetics. Holosets stands for Holosyncretic Technologies. It's a very complex energy healing system. Done it several times, and I do use some of that stuff now, but it's really complex. But it does work. Anyway, so I was doing a workshop. This is the second workshop I had done of this type. And I was working with this woman. We were working on each other, just practicing the system. She'd work on me, I would work on her, and back and forth. Anyway, so it was my turn to be worked on. She was working on me. Now, I want you to know that we were both standing, not sitting, not lying down, nothing. We were standing, and she was working on me. And all of a sudden, I popped out of my body, and I was in my last past life as a soldier, an American soldier in Europe in World War II. And in this scene that I was fully immersed into it, but I'm still standing being Lorina in my physical body. But so it's hard to explain and very interesting. So I was over there on the other side in this death scene, and there were a lot of people who had been killed. I had just died. So in the energy of this scene, so I knew I was getting this information about myself, that I was I was a young Jewish man from Brooklyn, New York, and I love Brooklyn, by the way. I lived in Brooklyn and I loved it. It was my favorite place in New York to live, was in New York City. In New York City was Brooklyn. There's just something special about it there. But I was a young Jewish man from Brooklyn, and very idealistic, and I went to war to help with this incredible cause to stop Hitler and the German invasion. And anyway, and by the way, I hate history. And I think the reason why I hate history is because it seems to me like the same story over and over and over again. Somebody's trying to take over the world, some country, and a lot of people are getting killed over it. And anyway, that's how I've always seen it. And it could be because of this past life where I got killed and I saw the horrors of war. Anyway, so what I saw in this scene is, as this young man from Brooklyn was, and I believe that I had just barely stepped out into this area where we had been fighting and I got killed, and a lot of people got killed. And I was on the other side of being dead already, and my left shoulder pretty much got blasted off. And I do have problems with my left shoulder. But anyway, so I'm seeing myself out of the body and looking around. And what I am seeing is confusion, like so much confusion, like from all of these spirits who had just died and left their body. So there was confusion, there was terror, there was fear, and there was this white, misty, smoke-like energy that was all over the place, and it was incredibly heavy. And this is what I'm seeing as that energetic mist of the confusion and all of that. And I could see it everywhere. And of course, there could be a lot of smoke and white mist in a war scene. That's very possible too. But this is what I was seeing. And to me, it was more energetic than physical. And as I'm staring at this, watching it, I have to say that I was not fully engulfed in what was happening, like in that lifetime of me being this young Jewish man fighting and popping out of the body. I was not engulfed in everything that he was seeing, feeling. It was more like I was observing it, feeling the emotion and understanding it and observing it, but not getting lost in it. So there was a lot of understanding and observing as this was happening. And it was a massive death scene. It was pretty incredible. Oh, but anyway, so more on with my story. So what was happening as I'm observing this, I was popping out back and forth between me, Lorina, in this lifetime, and that young Jewish man in that lifetime. And so I would pop back in from observing that. I would pop back into my body and say to this woman I was working with, I want you to do this, 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 and this technique. And then I would pop back out into that lifetime and do some more observing and just kind of see what's going on and kind of feel what I need as a soul to heal in this lifetime, to bring healing to the soul now from that lifetime into this lifetime. It's a little confusing. And so I kept hopping back and forth. Now do this, now do this. But I was literally hopping back and forth between two lifetimes, now and in the past, on the other side. And at some point, this kind of trickster spirit showed up, almost like above the level of what I was observing, from being that man, above it. So I was then aware of what was going on kind of above, on a different level. And this trickster spirit was actually saying, you're stuck here, and it's pretty funny, and you can't get out of this. And I'm like, no, I don't know who you are, but no. And that's not happening. And then I pop back into my body here and say, now I want you to do this, this, and this. And I'd pop back in. And I did that several times again, where I was telling her what to do to get rid of this guy who was a trickster. Anyway, just another interesting experience. So I guess the question is that bilocation? To me, that's bilocation. Now, and the pre-life memory could be a form of bilocation. It could also be astral projection, because I really was so fully there that I don't remember being in my body, like being connected as much to my physical body here when that was happening. And there's so many different levels of consciousness and realms that it's really hard to fully understand from this level what's going on all those other levels. And the thing with Jody too is like it's on the other side. So it was as if I was in the room and there at the same time. So anyway, and so what I've learned in remote viewing, so a lot of remote viewing, and I've done some classes, some serious study and work in remote viewing, is that in remote viewing, it's a type of, if you're really doing it well, it is a type of bilocation. Like you become immersed in that and you move around and you can see, feel, hear everything that's going on around you. That's bilocation. Anyway, so it's all an exploration in consciousness. That's what we're doing here. We're souls who have bodies who are exploring consciousness. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. I hope you're doing it too. There's a lot of questions, we need answers. Anyway, and if you want to do bilocation, I know you can actually do that through breath work. So again, do breath work. Wim Hof, do 10 minutes of Wim Hof, or a half hour Wim Hof. And then do binaural beats, do isochronic tones, are actually very powerful, kind of similar to binaural beats that can help you, like going into theta states, which takes you into a deeper level of consciousness so that you can have control over going into these states of consciousness, so that you can have some pretty amazing experiences. And to me, because life can be hard, and if you're not doing any kind of exploration into the spirit realm or into these greater levels of awareness, then what are you doing? Just being entertained, paying your bills, cleaning your house? I mean, there's got to be more to life than just doing that. So and there's love too, which is a major part of life, which that's the juice. That's what really, so the more that you can get into those states of consciousness, it's sort of like the more energy you're putting into these other states, which opens you up, so that you are more available to live in 3D reality, and bring these other things into 3D reality. Because, we need help bringing more life and love and joy into that. And doing these things can actually help you get more excited about life, and because it is more than just cleaning and paying bills and, taking care of your family or your pets or things. Anyway, so I think it's a wonderful way to do that. So please, meditate, do breath work, sing, chant, explore, paint, dance. There's some wonderful ways to get connected to that deeper levels of life and consciousness and your heart. Anyway, I think that's it for today. So have a really wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. All right, bye-bye.